Okay, here we go. Tarryn, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Tarryn, it's been so long. We were just discussing then. I think I've been in Dubai almost 5 years now. I met you in Abu Dhabi, probably in the first couple of weeks I'd moved over to Abu Dhabi, like 7.5 years ago. So it's great to chat with you again. How is everything with you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Tarryn, do you want to give yourself a little bit of an introduction? Tell the listeners who you are, what you do.
Okay, so my name is Tarryn. People call me Hoffy. I'm from New Zealand. I've been living in the Middle East for 12 years, 1 year in Kuwait, and then 11 years in Abu Dhabi. I'm a personal trainer, private for Emirati ladies in their homes. And yeah.
Yeah, so I met you obviously, like I said, and we trained together for a little while, and we were just kind of just coming up with like crazy workouts and just doing whatever. You're obviously your Instagram page, which I'll link in the show notes if you want to go and check it out. Obviously this podcast, I've titled it like Finding Your Training Mojo, and your page is one of those I always look at and I'm like, damn, I need to go and train, because like you've gone and done this like badass workout in the morning, and I'm like, oh, this looks fun, I want to give that a try, and I'll try this. And your bio is literally, it says sharing training videos on the gram with the hope of motivating someone to move, which I think it does that.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Yeah, so like I remember, whatever year it was I started Instagram, maybe like 2012 or 2013. I had a private page, and my clients kept on tagging me in workout videos and be like, Hoffy, let's try this. And it was just, girls wearing very little clothes, hair out, like booty this, booty that. And the workouts that they were doing were not good at all. And my clients were significantly further, advanced from this, but they just got lured into, how it looked on the gram. So that was the whole reason why when I started Healthy Hoffy, like I wanted to share real training videos. Like it's my workout. I don't make a video to put on Instagram. It's what I did that day. And yeah, like you said, like hopefully like people look at it and think, oh cool, like nice idea, whether they do my program or not, but they watch it and feel like, awesome, I'm going to go to the gym.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I guess it's just very authentic, the fact that it is your workout and you're literally recording. I remember like recording your workout, say like when we finish a workout, just record a couple of these sets. It might not necessarily be like your exact workout there and then, but what it is, it's the workout that you're doing. And how many trainers are there out there, or people that are posting their workouts on Instagram that are doing the workouts day in, day out that they're posting? Like it's all too common. You see like fitness models and Instagram models posting workouts, which like me as a fitness professional is going, they do not look like that from doing that, like, with a boot band or with this, that, or the other. So I guess yours
body from your whatever it is that you're posting. Yeah. I mean, there's a massive authenticity issue on Instagram. So I just try and keep it real, and I get a lot of feedback from people, strangers from all over the world, and the first thing they always say is like, I love that it's real. Like, yeah. So that's always what I've tried to do, and inshallah, I'm keeping it that way.
So for anybody that hasn't gone and seen it, check it out. I guess it's important to kind of know what your background is in terms of sport and your training, because obviously the training that you do is, is quite advanced. Some of the stuff that you do, there's some basic stuff in there as well. But what's your background?
So I was a competitive gymnast to quite a high level, and I stopped. My parents made me stop when I was 13 because I had at that stage broken 10 bones, and so they were like, "All right, you're done." And then I started like competitive sport aerobics, and I was a dancer also. And I got into gym-based stuff. I think I joined the gym when I was 16. Like you had to be 16 to join, and I joined Les Mills in New Zealand, and started going to, I'm sure a lot of people would have heard of like Body Pump, Body Attack, like these kind of classes. So that's how I started, like in a commercial gym, and that was like the base of my training. And then I kind of transitioned into, I didn't even know, like I had never heard of CrossFit, or I didn't know what it was, but I was doing very similar movements to that, you know, like CrossFit, in my opinion, like they didn't invent any move. It was just the methodology of how they put it together. But like, you know, burpees and thrusters and all of these kind of moves that they've always been there. And I sort of, as soon as I started doing weight training, like I would, you know, I was doing predominantly group fitness, and then I would add in a little bit of weights, and then it became more weights and just a little bit of group fitness. And then now I haven't stepped foot in a group fitness studio in maybe 8 years. So yeah, I've always sort of trained that way. That's like what I enjoy to do.
Yeah, I think, like you said there, like CrossFit's a brand, right? And you're completely right. They've just pulled the methodologies together of, you know, gymnastics, weightlifting, metabolic conditioning, pulled them together. And it's been great, like in terms of even just creating like a community atmosphere and what it's done for like smaller boutique gyms and things like that. But I think what was great about even, you know, when we were training before, and I'm almost sure that you probably do similar now, like we would get to the gym and we'd be like, right, what have we done this week? What things do we need to do? Because as like fitness professionals, personal trainers, we know that there's certain elements of fitness that we need to do week in, week out. How can we tie that in that's a little bit different to what we've done before? Because we like the variety, we like to challenge ourselves, try new things that we can use for ourselves and for our clients. Is that kind of the similar style that you do now?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people will disagree with how I do my own programming and how I program for my clients. So of course, there is a huge science behind programming, like massively so, but I'm not going to the Olympics. My clients are not going to the Olympics. So we're training to be healthier and fitter and stronger average Joes. Like, you know, we're not Olympic athletes. So I know a lot of people, especially like in CrossFit style training, that like work the weaknesses and they have this sort of attitude. I don't. I put my hand up and I say straight away, I don't work with my weaknesses. I don't do what I'm not good at, and I don't do what I don't enjoy. Because at the end of the day, movement is, and being able to work out is a pleasure and is a gift. And I do what I like. Simple as that. And I want to, yeah. So a lot of people would disagree with that and go, oh, you're bad at this move. I need to practice. But for what? Like, it's about enjoyment, and I want my own sessions to be enjoyable and for my clients to enjoy their sessions. So I really try to avoid things that people hate, because there's no need. We're not high level athletes that need to work on the weaknesses as such. So yeah, I know a lot of people definitely disagree with that, but I'm here to enjoy it. Like it's an aspect of my life. It's definitely not the whole thing of my life. Also, people think that like my world revolves around it. It definitely doesn't. I have 1 hour a day to work out, and I love it, and that's it. You know, then I walk away from the gym, and yeah.
I think you've summed it up there, and you said people won't necessarily like that style of training, but I think that's wrong in terms of you've understood and you've what your clients are looking for, what their kind of end goals are, what their end results are, and you've figured out that, hey, they're not trying to progress to like this elite level. They enjoy this style of training, but they don't want the stress of having to like constantly improve every single day. And maybe just like you said, it's your 1 hour a day. Maybe it's their 1 hour a day that it's just nice to switch off and not think about things. And the last thing that they want to do is come in and just feel maybe a little bit embarrassed, a little bit shamed that, I
can't enjoy something like, so of course I try to have a well-balanced program, like for myself and for my clients. But yeah, it's not like I don't sit down and calculate the science and okay, last week we did 5 sets of 8 deadlifts, so this week we're going to progress. Like I feel like that at our, like it's just not necessary. Like we want to move, we have a very sedentary lifestyle, especially here, for many reasons, like the weather is a big one, the infrastructure, it's not like the cities aren't designed for walking, and then you've got the weather, the religion, the culture, like there's many reasons, and our lifestyles are so sedentary. So it's the hour a day that we have to move. So I want to move, and I move everything. Like I don't isolate anything. I just want to move, and I want to sweat, and I want to enjoy it.
So do you put down, obviously, like you're super consistent with your training, like do you put a lot of that down to, like we've just kind of spoke about then, actually just knowing that you're going into a session to actually enjoy it, like you're going to do things that you enjoy doing, you're going to put pieces.
Like Yeah, I mean, I want to enjoy it. Like sometimes I would like plan the night before and be like, "Ooh, tomorrow I'm going to do this." Other times I literally walk into the gym, like drop my bag down, put my shoes on, and be like, "Cool, like I'm in the mood for this." Like it doesn't. Yeah, I mean that's it. Like as long as I move and I sweat and I'm getting fitter and I'm getting stronger, but I'm not necessarily like measuring the nitty gritty because again, I'm not an Olympic athlete. Like I just feel good. And as I get older, I start to realize more and more and more that exercise is more for the mind. Like it's yeah.
You there probably is like you're managing with yourself and your clients as well. Like there is like you are progressing on. Like you know that if you go in one day and you can, I don't know, back squat 50 kg, and the next time you try, you can do 55 kg. Like you probably highlight those things in terms of what you can see in yourself. You can see if you're getting better in your training. Like I bet if we just looked back through your like 7-8 years of just training videos, you see you snatching here compared to snatching here.
Oh
and
yeah.
doing this gymnastics. In fact, I remember when you got back in, because you went back into doing gymnastics, right? After not doing it for a little while. And where you were there to where you are now is obviously completely different as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's without this like, and again, I know there's a huge science behind programming. I'm not saying there's not, but that's without using the science of programming, you know, in an intense way. Like, of course, like I'm getting stronger and I'm getting fitter, and I see like numbers go up, and that makes me feel good. But yeah, I mean, it's just as simple as doing what I enjoy, and same for my clients. Like what my clients enjoy, because at the end of the day, yes, like as a trainer, you know, you have this like, okay, I know as a health professional what is better for you, but then if your client doesn't like something, like again, it's a business. Like if they're not enjoying it, they're not going to come back for more. So you know you need to find that balance of like, okay, I know what's right, but I know what you like. So you kind of have to like strike that balance, and then you have long-term clients.
It's funny that you say that. I remember when I was in Abu Dhabi, I was training, training a sheikh there and going to his compound, and he had like this awesome gym facility. I would go in and train him 4 or 5 days a week. I remember when I first started training him, I think what he liked about me is that if he didn't want to do something, he would just be like, don't want to do that, change it. And not in like an arrogant way, like, but there would just be, I would introduce something and go, hey, we're going to try this. And maybe it's something that I was doing in my own training. I'm like, oh, we're going to try this. He would go, nah, I don't want to do that. And like in my head, I'd be thinking, I was probably in that mindset then of like when I was trying to be a competitive CrossFitter, like work your weaknesses and things like that. Now I'm thinking back on it, like, but I used to just be able to adapt and change things straight away. And I think that's what he liked about it. And that probably comes down to, you know, the types of training sessions that we used to do, what I used to do for myself, like experimenting, trying different things, and just being able to think on my feet, right? We need to do some sort of like squatting movement, right? He doesn't like this type of squatting movement. He doesn't want to go heavy. How can we manipulate and change things to make it more favorable for him?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I do that a lot. Like, you know, at the start of every session, like most of my clients would train 5 days a week. And so, of course, throughout the week, you know, maybe you didn't sleep, or you had an exam yesterday, or your child is sick. You know, there's endless variables as to why you're not on form today. And so if I showed up with something in mind, and that's not like what they're vibing today, like I can change it within 1 second. Like there's just a lot of gigabytes filled up with years of my own training, and then I know like cool things that match well together, like, oh, that's nice to, you know, do those 2 moves like supersetted together, or whatever it may be. So yeah, I think being able to think on your feet, and again, at the end of the day, if you're a personal trainer or a coach or whatever, it's a business. And you'd like, if you're going to a hairdresser and you didn't like the way they did your hair, you're not going to go back, right? So if you know, it's as simple as that. Like we provide a service, and the client will choose. You don't own a client. You don't say this is my client. Like if they, you know, we provide a service, so they're going to go to who they want to for the best service. So yeah,
that's actually a great way of thinking about it. I'm definitely going to be using that one in the future. That's a great way of, and you are right. Like it is a business at the end of the day, and you can have an influence on people to an extent, and you can guide them towards a methodology that you know is going to help them. But as you've already mentioned, like general population, how many variables do we really need to be fitting in? Like we probably need to be doing some strength training a few times a week, need to be making sure that we're burning more calories by doing some conditioning work, that type of stuff. It's really not a huge complicated thing. Saying that, if you do get to, you do start working with someone who is maybe wants to take it to that next level, then yeah, there may be certain elements that they need to input.
Yeah, then more planning goes into the programming and stuff. But like, out of the world, what percentage are elite athletes? You know, like yeah. I mean, I'd like to think, but I'm not. Yeah. You know, we just need to move. We need to move our bodies, and yeah.
Well, what I was going to say then was like, what is, you know, when you're stepping into the gym, what's like the minimum? Like if one day you're waking up and I don't know, maybe you've had an overindulgent weekend or something like that, you're just not feeling that motivated to train and you're feeling a bit tired, lethargic, but you manage to get yourself into the gym. Like, what's the minimum that you kind of expect from yourself?
That I sweat.
Okay.
Like literally, I'll define a good workout by like how sweaty I am at the end. Like, you know, and then of course, then you have the endorphins and the after workout feeling. And, you know, I was saying like, I think that especially it's become more and more clear as I've got older, like my mental like state throughout the day is definitely like increased. And I think I'm a much happier person. I'm a much probably nicer person to be around, having had those, you know, post-workout kind of endorphins and stuff like that. So as long as I sweat, I'm happy. Like whether it's, you know, if I'm like, ugh, like I have no mood today, I'm going to, you know, I'll just make up some little circuits like with machine-based cardio, you know, just as long as I sweat, I leave thinking like that's better than sitting on the couch.
Do you get your training inspo from anywhere? Like obviously is there any people that you follow online, or is there some inspiration that you draw in to do your workouts, or is it literally just all from yourself?
I'd say like it's definitely predominantly from myself. The last few years I've also started joining classes because I just sort of hit a wall motivation wise, and I was finding I would like be driving because my work schedule was crazy. You know, I'm like from the house for like 16 hours. That's including training and like driving between clients, but that's a long day, you know? So I'd find myself like sitting at the traffic light and it would be like, okay, if I'm going to go home, I'll turn left. If I'm going to go to the gym, I'll turn right. And I'd find myself being like, and I'd go home and just like chill for an hour instead of train. And then this was about maybe 5 years ago. And then I'm like, I cannot be a trainer who doesn't train. Like that's just nuts, you know? So then I started jumping into some classes, but I'd always like complain about the programming because I like my own programming because I do what I like, you know. So I think, which I know a lot of people disagree with doing only what you like or what you're good at. But yeah, so most of the stuff is like just from my own head. I have fun, like, you know, piecing stuff together for clients. And then of course I take ideas from Instagram, but yeah, no one really like specific. Like I'll see something on Instagram like, oh, that's cool. And then I'll like change it, you know, I'll just get the idea for like the format maybe. And then I'll like change all the movements or change the rep scheme but yeah, just not a specific place or person. No.
I seem to remember you hate rowing. Do you still hate rowing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the assault bike is better than the rower. Like I don't know.
I think I probably favor rowing more than most things. That's probably where I remember that from.
2 million meters, you definitely don't mind the rower.
That's one of those. But I guess talking about like finding your fitness mojo, like you giving a good example there of like driving home from work, left to the gym, right? And if there's no one relying on you there and it's just your own workout going in, like it might not get done, but you've actually used external accountability of like, I'm going to sign in for the class, I'm going to book them for the class,
yeah,
to get themselves in.
And you know what, like during quarantine when we were at home, like myself and Milano, my husband, like we were training together, like a few of my clients like linked me different bits and pieces. So we had like, we got a nice collection. We had like a bike and a box and a bar and dumbbells and kettlebell and wall ball. And we were training outside in the heat and it was like insane. And at the time I kind of thought I hated it. Like it was hot, like, you know, we're training in like 40 to 50 degrees, like in the middle of Abu Dhabi summer. And, but that was the first time in a long time that I've done my programming consistently for 5 days a week, because I've been struggling motivation. So I'll jump into a class on a day and it's not like what I would give my clients or what I would give myself. And so it was the first time for like about 5 months, I did 5 days a week, my training. And like, I was feeling good. I was feeling fit and feeling strong despite like, you know, being stuck at home. We just do it outside on the terrace and yeah. And then since going back to the gym, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought. I thought I'd walk into the gym and be like, oh, like I'm back. And I was like, oh, you know what? Like actually at home was nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've got a balcony as well, and I probably didn't train in the peak of summer. Like I was trying to get it done, but I think gyms opened up a little bit quicker than in Dubai than they did in Abu Dhabi. So
Yeah.
I remember there was definitely a stage where I was doing a lot of training out there, but I think as it started to reach like peak summer, we were kind of back in the gym then. So,
and I think, Dubai gyms maybe opened a month before Abu. Then once Abu gyms opened, I stayed at home for like another 6 weeks. Like I didn't go back as soon as the gyms opened. I was like, what? Like we just got into like a really good routine, and then I just enjoyed like our music, and it just sort of, it was working, so we just continued to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tarryn, I want to ask about, you had quite a serious injury from doing gymnastics. Was that last year or maybe a little bit
At the 2018.
Obviously overcoming that with the injury, with all the training that you've done previously, like how was that time for you, going through a serious injury and coming back into training?
So it's really tough, and it was a big injury as well. So I broke my tibia plateau, so the fat bit at the top of your shin bone where your kneecap sits on. So I broke it, like split it open like a kind of like a plank of wood. So yeah, I mean it was a big injury, and I spent 13 weeks on crutches, like 6 of which was only 1 foot touching the ground. And it's hard. It's hard. It's very hard mentally when I'm, with such an active person to become so dependent. And when you're on crutches, like you can't carry anything. Like, you cannot. So like we started doing a meal delivery service because I was at home, like I was in hospital for a week, and then I was at home for, I think about 3 weeks, and then I was allowed to start driving. So I was very lucky. It was my left leg, not my right leg. So then I could drive. Like if it was my left leg, I probably wouldn't have been able to drive for like at least 6 months. But I was able to drive after 3 weeks. But getting in and out of the car was like Britney Spears moments every time, trying to like swivel in with my leg, like, in a brace up to my hip. So yeah, like, I mean, it's life changing. Like we had to, we did a meal delivery service. So obviously like Milano's going to work, like I'm at home. So like it's like little things that people wouldn't think about. And I know this is nothing compared to, people who are long-term, in wheelchairs and stuff like this. It's crazy. So like if I was going to have lunch, for example, I'm like on the couch, I like clutch my way over to the kitchen. Then I have to stand on one leg and balance because I couldn't like put my foot on the ground. So I'm doing like a single leg deadlift into the fridge to get to pull out my food. And I couldn't like even like early, I couldn't hop. So I couldn't even like hop across the kitchen. So then I'd have to slide my food along the floor using my crutch to the other side of the kitchen where the microwave is, then single leg deadlift to pick it up and then put it in the microwave. And then I'd like throw a bottle of water hoping it landed on the couch. And then I'd like, once my food is hot from the microwave, I put it on the floor and I slide. Again, I can't hop. So I had to like slide and then crutch, and then slide. And like, that's just to eat. I couldn't shower myself, like, and the apartment we were living at the time had like a shower bath, not a shower. So I couldn't get my leg in the bath. So we had to drive to my sister's house to shower, and then Milano would have to shower, like bathe me, like, and that's just a broken knee, So I know it's nothing compared to what a lot of people go through or live with daily, but it's hard. So I started training. I feel like it was after like maybe 4 weeks. Like, so basically, I think when I was like fine to drive. And I mean, I was doing like nothing, like I'll like sit on the assault bike, like with my arms and then do like some shoulder press or whatever, And, but again, it was just for my mental. It wasn't like, oh, I'm worried about my body or my whatever, or calories or it was just like for again, if I could achieve some sweat, I felt like I had achieved something. So yeah, and it was a long, slow transition back into.
Yeah. Sounds like it was quite functional, or just trying to get around the house and do all of those jobs. Yeah. Functional fitness, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Tarryn, that's awesome. Like I said, I wanted to obviously just get you on just to kind of share some of your background in terms of like how you program. It's always super interesting to see your workouts. I do generally see them. I might give that a try, or I might try this. And to be honest, I'm definitely in that frame of mind where I kind of just go in and do what I want now. And I actually do the same as well. Like like there's times in the week where I'm like, might not train today, right? Book myself into a class at, Base 3 or the gym or whatever, and just do the class, whatever it is. Don't always like it. There's things that I might need to change sometimes, or, but I think I like what you said. Just getting in and getting a sweat on is just the important thing sometimes.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, just
Tarryn, where can the listeners find you?
So on Instagram, Healthy Hoffy,
Perfect.
which is this now because now I got married and my last name is no longer Hoffman, but I'm still Healthy Hoffy.
Yeah, you can change that. You can change.
I know. So that's where my get posted.
Yeah, perfect. So I'll tag that one in the show notes. Obviously, people can go and follow and find you. But thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.